In the heart of rural China, nestled among the fields of Shaoshan, a child was born into a world on the brink of change. Mao Zedong entered the world as the son of a prosperous peasant, but his destiny would far exceed the boundaries of his humble beginnings. From an early age, Mao's spirit burned with a fierce nationalism and a desire to defy imperialist powers. Inspired by the tumultuous events of the Xinhai Revolution and the passionate cries of the May 4th movement, young Mao found himself drawn to the call of revolution. As he grew, Mao's path intertwined with destiny as he embraced Marxism-Leninism while navigating the corridors of Peking University. It was here, amidst the dusty shelves of books, that Mao's journey towards becoming a founding member of the Chinese Communist Party began. The winds of history swept Mao into the maelstrom of the Chinese Civil War, where he emerged as a formidable leader, rallying the oppressed masses under the banner of the Red Army. With unwavering determination, Mao led his forces through the trials of the Long March, a grueling test of endurance that forged his resolve like tempered steel. Finally, in 1949, Mao stood at the precipice of history as he proclaimed the birth of the People's Republic of China, a nation reborn under the red flag of communism. Yet, amidst the triumphs lay shadows of tragedy, as Mao's vision for a new China descended into the depths of chaos. The Great Leap Forward, a grand vision to catapult China into the modern age, instead plunged the nation into darkness, shrouded in the despair of famine and suffering. The Cultural Revolution tore through the fabric of society, leaving scars that would endure for generations. Raised under the stern hand of his father, Mao's childhood was shaped by the rigors of rural life and the echoes of ancient Confucian teachings. Yet amidst the toil of farm work, Mao's mind hungered for something more. His voracious appetite for learning led him to the dusty shelves of Shaoshan Primary School, where he devoured tales of heroes and rebels, finding solace in the pages of classic novels like Romance of the Three Kingdoms. As Mao matured, the winds of change swept across China, igniting the flames of revolution in his heart. The Xinhai Revolution, a beacon of hope for a nation yearning for freedom, stirred Mao's soul as he witnessed the fall of emperors and the rise of republics. Inspired by the fervor of the times, Mao joined the rebel army, a young soldier among a sea of revolutionaries. Yet, as the dust settled and the Republic of China emerged, Mao's thirst for knowledge remained unquenched. Rejecting the confines of traditional education, he embarked on a journey of self-discovery, enrolling in schools only to abandon them in search of greater truths. Amidst the chaos of war and the uncertainty of the times, Mao found solace in the pages of radical newspapers and the camaraderie of fellow intellectuals. It was in the hallowed halls of the Fourth Normal School of Changsha that Mao's destiny began to take shape. Surrounded by like-minded souls and guided by mentors who dared to dream of a better world, Mao's passion for revolution burned brighter than ever. As he graduated, his mind teeming with ideas and his heart ablaze with purpose, as Mao's journey unfolded, his quest for knowledge led him to the bustling streets of Beijing, where the seeds of revolution were being sown. Mentored by the esteemed Yang Changji, Mao found himself thrust into the intellectual hub of Peking University, where radical ideas permeated the air like a heady fragrance. Under the tutelage of Li Dazhao, a beacon of Marxist thought, Mao's worldview underwent a profound transformation. Immersed in the writings of Lenin and the fervor of the October Revolution, Mao's nascent radicalism blossomed into a fervent commitment to socialist ideals. Embracing Marxism as his guiding light, Mao shed the vestiges of his former anarchistic leanings, finding solace in the promise of a proletarian revolution. Yet amidst the intellectual fervor of the university, Mao remained an outsider, scorned by his peers for his rustic origins and humble position. Undeterred, he immersed himself in the study of philosophy and journalism, attending lectures by luminaries like Chen Duxiu and Hu Xi, each imparting invaluable wisdom that would shape Mao's revolutionary fervor. As Mao's time in Beijing drew to a close, the flames of rebellion ignited by the May 4th movement engulfed the nation, setting the stage for Mao's return to Changsha. Here, amidst the fervor of political protests and the clamor of dissent, Mao found his calling as a revolutionary leader. Organizing student strikes and publishing radical magazines, Mao became a voice for the oppressed, advocating for social justice and women's liberation. With the death of his mother and the impending demise of his mentor, Mao's path seemed uncertain. Yet, as he embarked on a journey to Shanghai, fate intervened, leading him to alliances with key figures in the Kuomintang and a pivotal role in the overthrow of corrupt regimes. As the winter of 1920 descended upon him, Mao stood on the threshold of a new chapter in his life, his union with Yang Kai-hui marking not only a personal milestone, but a symbol of his unwavering commitment to the cause of revolution. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, was established in 1921 by Chen Duxiu and Li Dazhao in Shanghai. Mao Zedong played a pivotal role in spreading its influence, setting up branches in Changsha, Hunan, and promoting revolutionary activities. The CCP aimed to overthrow the existing social and political order in China and establish a socialist state. Mao's efforts included establishing a cultural book society and a branch of the Socialist Youth Corps to propagate revolutionary literature in Hunan. In 1921, small Marxist groups existed in various Chinese cities, prompting the decision to convene a central meeting in Shanghai. Mao attended the first session of the National Congress of the CCP in July 1921. The Congress, attended by 13 delegates, marked the official formation of the party. Despite the presence of Soviet and Comintern delegates advocating for an alliance with bourgeois Democrats, the CCP adhered to orthodox Marxist principles, believing that only the urban proletariat could lead a socialist revolution. Mao's role within the CCP expanded as he became the party secretary for Hunan, stationed in Changsha. He employed various tactics to build the party's presence, including founding the Self-Study University to provide access to revolutionary literature. Mao's commitment to organizing workers and peasants intensified, leading to his involvement in strikes and protests against the government. His efforts garnered attention, and he was invited to become a member of the Communist Party's Central Committee, solidifying his position as a key figure within the party's leadership. In October 1934, the Red Army, comprising 85,000 soldiers and 15,000 party cadres, initiated the Long March by breaking through the KMT line at Xinfeng in Jiangxi. To facilitate the escape, the wounded, ill, women, and children were left behind, defended by guerrilla fighters who were subsequently massacred by the KMT. The surviving 100,000 troops headed towards southern Hunan, encountering heavy fighting as they crossed rivers and faced armed opposition. Arriving in Zunyi in January 1935, the Red Army held a conference where Mao was elected to a leadership position, becoming chairman of the Politburo. Supported by Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin, Mao insisted on operating as a guerrilla force and outlined a destination, the Shenxi Soviet in Shanxi, northern China, to focus on fighting the Japanese. Facing opposition from Chiang Kai-shek, Mao's forces successfully navigated through challenging terrain and battled KMT forces. Despite disagreements with Zhang Guotao, another CCP leader, Mao pressed on, leading his troops through grasslands and facing attacks from various factions. Finally reaching Shanxi, only 8,000 troops survived the arduous journey. The Long March solidified Mao's leadership within the CCP, and by November 1935, he was named chairman of the Military Commission. This marked Mao's ascent as the undisputed leader of the Communist Party, a position he maintained despite not officially becoming party chairman until 1943. The establishment of the People's Republic of China, PRC, under Mao Zedong in 1949, marked a significant turning point in Chinese history. Mao's proclamation from the Gate of Heavenly Peace on October 1st declared the triumph of the Communist Party and symbolized the end of centuries of imperial rule. Mao's Marxist ideology, heavily influenced by Leninism, shaped the foundation of the new republic. He emphasized the vanguard role of the Communist Party in leading China towards socialism. Mao believed in the necessity of mass movements to combat bureaucracy, a principle reflected in his later policies. The Korean War in the early 1950s demonstrated Mao's commitment to socialist expansion and his leadership in military operations. The war also led to international isolation, with the United States imposing a trade embargo on China. Social reforms under Mao's rule aimed to address economic inequality and eliminate bourgeois elements. Land reform campaigns and campaigns against counter-revolutionaries resulted in significant loss of life, with estimates ranging from hundreds of thousands to millions. Mao's policies also targeted the eradication of opium production and distribution, as well as campaigns against corruption and capitalist elements through the 3 Anti and 5 Anti campaigns. The Great Leap Forward, launched in 1958, aimed to rapidly transform China into an industrialized nation, but resulted in a devastating famine due to flawed agricultural policies and exaggerated production reports. The failure of the Great Leap Forward led to internal criticism and political purges within the Communist Party. The Cultural Revolution, initiated in 1966, aimed to purge remnants of capitalist and traditional elements from Chinese society. However, it led to widespread chaos, violence, and persecution, resulting in millions of deaths and irreparable damage to China's cultural heritage. Mao's leadership style became increasingly authoritarian and detached from reality, leading to internal power struggles within the Communist Party. The Sino-Soviet split further isolated China internationally. In his final years, Mao Zedong's health deteriorated, likely exacerbated by his heavy smoking habit. Despite official secrecy, it's believed he suffered from various lung and heart conditions, possibly including Parkinson's disease and amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS. His last public appearance was in May 1976, and he suffered multiple heart attacks before passing away on September 9, 1976, at the age of 82. The announcement of his death was delayed until September 16th, and his embalmed body lay in state for a week at the Great Hall of the People, where millions paid their respects. Despite Mao's wish for cremation, his body was preserved and put on display in the mausoleum of Mao Zedong. His death prompted nationwide mourning, with a 3-minute silence observed across China. The Communist Party later assessed Mao's legacy, acknowledging his contributions to the Chinese Revolution, while also critiquing his errors, particularly those from 1965 onward. Mao remains a divisive figure, revered by many in China for his role in unifying the country and improving literacy and women's status, but criticized for policies that led to tens of millions of deaths, primarily due to famine and political persecution. His legacy continues to be debated, with some praising his achievements in modernizing China, while others condemn his authoritarian rule and the human cost of his policies. Despite his flaws, Mao is credited with shaping modern China and remains a complex and controversial figure both domestically and internationally.